So I've been hearing quite a bit about this Fallout show, even with its batch release, with the entire season dropping a couple of days before its scheduled release. People are still talking about it because there's been quite a divisive, but not in the way that you normally assume a divisive response to a show would be. A lot of people like it. A lot of people complaining that it breaks some Fallout lore, and other people are saying that, it's just incredibly poorly written. But there's a couple of universals that play over the top of this. People like Walter Goggins, Ghoul, and then other people really like the lead character portrayed by Ella Purnell. I think we have good reason as to why both people are being so well regarded, because guess what? They're sticking up for the source material. They're sticking up for the fans. They're showing that they actually like the project that they're a part of. They're not embarrassed for working on a silly video game adaptation. And here you have this long post on Instagram from Ella Purnell. Okay, happy Fallout Day. Posting a bunch of behind the scenes stuff, just showing how thankful she was for her time on there. And there you have, the power armor and it, all the props and stuff. It all looks good. Okay, and the fact that she, worked and, kind of had to, leverage certain things in order to make a woman beating up a guy on set look a little bit more plausible. But okay, cool. A bunch of other stuff and her wearing the power armor helmet. That's pretty cool. And then just the people working on the show looking like they're having a fun time, and you do in fact love to see it. But we'll be coming back to what Ella had to say and why people are praising her. Talk about Walton Goggins for a second. I'm not a gamer. My son is a gamer. So he takes the role in order to make his son proud. But this isn't just my kid just plays the stupid games and I'm just here. I'm going to be a serious actor. He took it seriously. That's what people like about this. You might have disparate opinions when it comes to the show. I'm not going to watch it. I'm not a Fallout guy. But I am appreciative whenever I see actors or people working on a project paying homage and doing a good job to the source material. Fallout has become the talk of the town through its stellar reviews. It is rare for a video game adaptation to get good response from fans. More recently, not so much. Like before Barbie came along, Super Mario Brothers was the best film, or was the highest grossing film of 2023. Okay, The Last of Us exists. It did gangbusters for HBO. We're starting to kind of see a potential turnaround for video game adaptations, and then yes, Fallout, even for some of its divisive response, is kind of shifting that perception. And of course, you got a Halo Season 2 coming out, just going, oh god, are we actually still doing those with video game adaptations? Anyways, however, the series has managed to outrun this curse, not only evading the negative feedback that comes with such projects, but also only getting good reviews. Walton Goggins, who plays the role of Cooper Howard, has been especially praised for his performance in the series, perfectly encapsulating the essence of the ghoul in a way that has shocked many viewers. During a recent interview, the actor revealed the process he used to get into character. And the goal is to keep you in the game world. Former Fallout developer, indie game in the Access Unseen could teach one Mac. Needed. He's just simply talking about the game. Well, I haven't heard anything about a Fallout 5, but I have heard rumblings that, if this if the series ends up doing well, putting up numbers for Amazon, even though there's a reason that this just got dropped like a sack of potatoes on Amazon Prime, because Amazon didn't have faith on the series. And if it does good numbers over the next month or so, it might get a season 2 out there, and a lot of people are looking forward to that. He also mentioned, talking about Goggins, that was truly surprising and showcased just how good of an actor he is. It would seem that Goggins was not very familiar with the universe, having never played the games. But pay attention to this. Walton Goggins recently gave an interview to The Post where he talked about every aspect of making Fallout. He mentioned that what it was like to wear the makeup, as well as to play a character to two very different points in his life. Here, he was asked about how he prepared to assume the role of Cooper Howard. The process seems extensive. I read the script 250 times. Wow, and that's a lot of reading. But yeah, and I'd assume he's one of the lead characters, probably had quite a bit of speaking parts, probably had quite a bit of screen time. That shows his dedication to the role, so that's already got him points in my book. You do the math. It's always in my head, and it's always in my imagination, so I watched a lot of movies. It took a long time to put on this makeup every day. I watched a lot of Westerns, trying to understand, okay, well, this is a good comparison for the goal, or a good comparison for Cooper Howard. Hey, actually taking the character seriously. What would the character do as opposed to what would I like to do as an actor? This is why he's getting praised for this. Okay, this is why he did such a good job. This is why people resonate with this character, because he took it seriously. The actor started by revealing that he had read the script, yes, 200 times, all that stuff. Then he would go on to say, in addition to that, it's like so many other people in our business. I went through and maybe made a playlist, you know, just 50, 60, 70 songs, and just always kind of in the background. It's almost like you're hearing a novel or something. Oh, like that. For a person that you're playing. Okay, Goggins revealed, or was rather asked, if he was familiar with the source material of the series, that being the Fallout games. There are some of the most successful, well-known video game communities, and it would seem that the actor was only aware of them through association. That's fine. His son is a gamer and is familiar with the games. Although he had heard of the games and how successful they were, he had never played them, even though he helped adapt the live action. Interestingly enough, he preferred it this way. Okay, says the game gave him room to portray the ghoul without influence of the games, which is always just a nice cope way of people, you know, trying to pivot away from the criticism that they're not being accurate to the source material. But if you have such care for the character that you're portraying, you haven't played the material, well, this is acceptable. I'm not a gamer. My son's a gamer, but I'm not a gamer. You had to reinforce that, I guess. So I've heard of the name. I've heard the name Fallout, and I was not familiar with the world at all. And I'm happy that I wasn't. I haven't played the game, and I have the blessing of Todd Howard, the man who came up with the game. Well, that's not actually true, because Fallout 1 and 2 exist, and well, what you got to give him credit for is actually talking with the guy who best represents the game right now, at least is, you know, representative of Bethesda IP in its current state. I know people bicker with it, but you know, that's the way that it is. So he at least put in the legwork behind the character, and he's a hell of an actor, and he brought that same type of charisma and preparation to the screen for this role, and people are appreciating for that. And like I said, we'll circle back around to what Ella Purnell had to say about this, and well, she got a little bit different of an approach, and I tried to find the source material on this one, so I guess an Asmongold clip of him reacting to it, mostly because I just want to listen to a little bit of it. So shout out to him for getting this clip, and boo to Reddit for getting rid of the source material. Anyways.
He played a lot of it.
Yeah,
was that a complete waste of time, or did that feel like you were kind of prepping for the show?
It wasn't a waste of time at all.
So she's talking about playing the games beforehand. I know, right? Big shock on that. So the journalist asking the question, you could hear, so was it a big waste of time to play the games? No? Okay.
Well, I wanted to get the absolute most out of this experience, and I think you have to deeply, deeply respect the source material, at least for me, and I love to throw myself into all of my research, but this was so fun. There's so much lore and so much passion behind the games and so many details, and it made it even more exciting when I put the Vault suit on or the Pip-Boy for the first time. Like, that moment was not lost on me. What a big deal that was.
Yo, what? We actually have an actress who respects the source material, understand that there is a rabid fan base that is there, likes the source material, and carries it with a certain amount of reverence. It's a wild idea. I know, right? When you're stepping into the role, when you're stepping into a franchise that is so high profile like this, and it doesn't even need to be a high profile franchise. Whenever you're doing an adaptation, being aware of it to begin with, knowing that you might be able to dismiss it as a silly kid's game or something like that, giving it the same amount of care, like what Walton Goggins did. Okay, he wasn't familiar with it, and it's like he still prepared like a total professional for the role, and by all accounts knocked it out of the park. And then you have Ella Purnell taking it one step further, playing the games with her brother, understanding that there's a lot of lore there, understanding the reverence that so many people have for the franchise, being thankful for the opportunity that she has. So when you hear stuff like that, and even if you do have shortcomings, even if you don't think that the series is the greatest thing going, you at least know that it was made with love and care. Something that is becoming, thankfully, a little bit more commonplace in the industry, but definitely a good trend that we're seeing, and something that needs to be applauded whenever it does happen. So shout out to Ella, shout out to Walton, shout out to Fallout, subverting everyone's expectations in the best possible way by producing something that is generally being received as being a good video game adaptation. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.